anybody else on our team, spent the last week really getting familiar with what was going on with Essex. And we've done I've got a deployment of Essex. Wait, maybe I don't. No, all right, so I got to actually walk through and do a quick deployment of Essex. Sorry, I rebuilt it. I didn't realize I rebuilt it.
I can talk to it.
You want to talk a little bit, and I'll boot the nodes, and then I'll get things going. Okay, so what I'll do is why don't you do a brief on where Essex is, and then I'll plan that at the top of the hour we'll walk through the full install pieces. That'll make it easier. I'll have it ready.
Okay. So over the past week, I've been updating the Crowbar cookbooks in the Essex Hack branches of our repos. And I think a lot of you have found the wikis on where that is. It's the GitHub Dell Cloud Edge Crowbar project under that. There's a wiki in there that talks about it, but it's got all the bar clamps and stuff in there. The Essex stuff, the big changes that we had to make initially were around just getting the 12.4 image supported. So what Rob's put out on the vehicle site and what the system, if you get those branches, will do is allows you to build 12.04 as the basis. Because we at Dell, I think we want to move to the canonical based packages for now. We'll see about adding support as interest arrives for other OSs and stuff later. But that's kind of the basis of what we've started towards. And so the bar clamps have been updated to pull in the packages as best as I could make sure they were there. Needed to install Essex from the canonical site based upon 12.4 beta. On top of that, the bar clamps have been in process of being updated to support the Essex isms and updates to Keystone and the changes to the Keystone command line and some of the new features, not necessarily new features, but some of the new layouts in Glance and Nova and Horizon, particularly Horizon. And even a slight tweak to Swift, though I think that still has more work to be done. I haven't necessarily focused, and the team hasn't done much work on Swift right now. So the state of the universe is that the things kind of work, they kind of come up, but I think there's still interaction issues with some of the initial setup functions on how the credentials are being passed between Keystone and the various projects and some of that stuff. As part of this, one of the features that we're adding in our next kind of official release for Crowbar is some bar clamp importing capabilities. And the idea is up until now you've had to always rebuild an ISO for the most part to put the new cookbooks and stuff on the system. Rob and the team have added the ability to take from the build the actual TGZ that represents a bar clamp and update it. And so part of what we want to try and use in this process is as we put fixes out and hack on these bar clamps, we should be able to use the import function to pull in new versions of those bar clamps. So as we go forward and we find that we need to redo Keystone, hopefully we'll put out as a team, a collective group here, a new image that people can then upload into their system. Let's see.
And we'll post those. If you're in a physical location where to save bandwidth, we'll distribute those on USB keys rather than try and pull them across limited Wi-Fi. But we'll also be posting them on the vehicle site as we do it. And I can post on the vehicle site without using local bandwidth. So we go from a Rackspace cloud server directly to the vehicle site.
So if you want to make changes to the system today, we encourage it and love it, and this kind of applies for all ways. We use GitHub, so go ahead and fork the branch you want to, or fork the tree and repo and branch you want to play with. Make your changes and then do a pull request. And usually we all get notified, or various members of the team get notified, and we'll pull it in. For the Essex hack, we're not worried too much about what you want to pull in. So we'll be pretty lenient on that. For some of the development trees, and especially as you start to see some of the released backlog, kind of the previous releases that we put out, some of that will be a little more stringent on what we pull in and what we choose to pull in and when we pull it in. We're probably in the future, as part of crowbar growth, going to have to deal and start talking about how and who and when we do kind of those things. But at the current moment, let's just focus on the Essex hack set of branches. Let's see.
And one of the things that we'll do is I'd like to be fluid about topics. So I think there's going to be really, I'm expecting there to be interest in some different topics throughout the day. So if you're interested in us talking about a topic and doing a mini presentation, I'm trying to target those for top of the hour, but we can be flexible about that. And so we'll do that. I'll webcast them and we'll capture it, and then we'll post those out on YouTube so people can catch up. But we really do want people to suggest topics if we need to do a mini session on it. So one of the things we could talk about is DevTool. If people are interested in crowbar development and adding bar clamps, we were going to talk about the changes to dashboard. Quantum's on the list today. So we're trying to build up a schedule so we can talk about that. So that's something that we'd like to see posted just in the Skype back channel or on the IRC channel.
Let's see, what else? So just to kind of reiterate, the Essex stuff is there. It mostly gets installed, but I don't think the plumbing is completely done to get it all working swimmingly. And so part of what I hope to do and hope we can kind of get done somewhat today is some of those kind of things around that, as well as hopefully look at some of the new things like Quantum, and or at least discuss some of that stuff as it's coming into or starting to show up.
Okay, so what I'm going to suggest is that we take a 10-minute, we go off line for 10 minutes. We'll leave the bridges open so that there's chatter back and forth, but the official talking head part, we're going to stop for 10 minutes, and then we'll resume at the top of the hour with a how to get the stuff deployed session. And whoever is crinkling, please mute. I have to look up there we go. Thank you. All right. So line's going to stay open. I'm going to put the music back on in Austin, and we'll come back in 10 minutes for more official programming.
Radio free OpenStack.
Exactly.